Okay, I want to take you through where you're going to have a binomial times a trinomial. And at this level, that's as hard of a problem that we're going to do for multiplying polynomials. So 2 terms times 3 terms. You probably learned it using a box. I'm just going to show you a slightly different method. We're just going to use the distributive property. But if you like the box method and you get the answers using a box, by all means, you can use a box. But let me see if this makes sense to you. When you have a binomial times a trinomial, I'm going to distribute this first term to all 3 terms of the trinomial. Okay, so I'm going to take a 4x times 7x squared. We'll get a 28x cubed. Okay, and then when I take 4x times negative 2x, I'm going to have a negative 8x squared. And finally, I'll have a negative 20 when I take 4x times negative 5. That's going to give me the negative 20x. So now we're halfway through. We have to now come back around and distribute the negative 7. And I like lining up my like terms. So when I take a negative 7 times 7, I'm going to have negative 49x squared. And I like putting it underneath my x squared column. And then I'm going to have a negative 7 times negative 2, which is going to be a positive 14. And that'll be an x. And notice how I have it lined up underneath my negative 20x. And finally, a negative 7 times negative 5 is going to be a 35. Okay, so then all we have to do is simplify it. Everything's going to be lined up. This is the only x cubed term, so we're going to be left with 28x cubed. When you combine your x squared, it's going to be a minus 57x squared. Again, if you need a calculator, take negative 8 minus 49. It'll tell you negative 57. Here, when you combine this, it's going to be a negative 6x. And finally, a 35. So our answer is a polynomial with 4 terms. Okay? So you try number 2. Try number 2 on your own. And then, so pause this video. You get an answer. And then resume this video and check your answer. Okay? So for number 2, you're going to distribute the 3x. So 3x times 2x squared is going to be a 6x cubed. 3x times 2x is going to be a 6x squared. And 3x times negative 6 is going to be a negative 18x. Okay? Then I'm going to come around and distribute the negative 5. We're going to have a negative 10x squared. We're going to have a negative 10x. And negative 5 times negative 6 is going to be a positive 30. And then final answer, my 6x cubes. This together becomes a minus 4x squared. And then the x terms combine to give you a negative 28x or minus 28x. And finally, your plus 30. Okay, so you'll see a few problems and big ideas where it's a binomial times a trinomial. Make sure you practice enough, and you got to show the work. It's impossible to do that in your head. So you need to be able to, have paper, have a marker board, show the work, and if for some reason you don't get the correct answer, you need to ask, okay? And I want to be able to look at your work. It's easy to make mistakes, especially with signs, so you got to keep yourself organized. Okay, thanks for watching. Take care.